100 years.
Yeah.
It's hard to even grasp, 100 years.
It really is.
We're diving into the life and legacy of former President Jimmy Carter today. And I think it's safe to say this one feels personal for a lot of folks.
I think so, yeah. I mean, he was the oldest living former president.
And he just celebrated his 100th birthday just a couple months ago.
That's right, yeah, just a couple months ago.
And to think, through all that time, all the things he saw and did, it's almost like he embodies a whole century of American history.
Absolutely. He witnessed so much change.
So we've got some great material to work with today, really trying to understand both his presidency and his incredible life afterward, too.
Right. And what's so interesting to me is I don't think you can really separate the two. His presidency and his later work, they're so intertwined. It's almost like his time in office with all the challenges and everything, kind of laid the groundwork for his dedication to humanitarian work.
You're right. It wasn't all sunshine and roses in the White House for him.
No, definitely not.
I mean, when you think about Carter, what's the first thing that pops into your head?
Oh, well, for a lot of people, it's probably the Iran hostage crisis.
The hostage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the economic turmoil of the late 70s.
Right. Sky-high inflation.
It really kind of overshadows some of his accomplishments, sadly. But I think it's so important to consider the context.
Oh, absolutely. Context is key.
He stepped into a country still reeling from Vietnam, and then boom, a global energy crisis hits.
Talk about a tough hand to be dealt.
Right. But even with all that, he achieved some incredible things.
Okay, like what? Give me an example.
The Camp David Accords.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I mean, bringing together the leaders of Israel and Egypt, who had been, let's face it, at each other's throats for decades, and brokering a peace agreement. I mean, come on, that's legacy-defining stuff right there.
That's incredible. Really puts things in perspective.
It really does.
So do you think those experiences, the highs and lows of his presidency, do you think that sort of fueled his drive to make a difference on a bigger global stage?
I think it's very possible, because what you see is this incredible drive in him to address these massive global issues, poverty, disease, conflict.
Yeah.
He wasn't content with just giving speeches. This is a man who was out there building homes with Habitat for Humanity well into his 90s.
I mean, you have to admire that.
Yeah.
That's not just dedication. That's a deep-seated belief in the power of action.
Absolutely.
And it kind of makes you think, right, about your own life. Like, have you ever volunteered for a cause you really believed in? And what would it take to keep you going for decades?
Decades, yeah.
What would it take to keep that fire burning even after, the age when most people are kicking back and relaxing?
It's a good question.
And, speaking of impact, I mean, the guy wins the Nobel Peace Prize in 2002.
Right. It makes you wonder, what were the specific contributions that really resonated with the Nobel Committee? I mean, was it his work to eradicate guinea worm disease? Or promoting democracy in emerging nations? I mean, there's so much to choose from.
Exactly. It really speaks to the breadth of his humanitarian efforts.
Absolutely.
So here we are. We've got this amazing story writer. A man lives for a century, serves as president during a super turbulent time, and then dedicates his life to trying to make the world a better place.
That's a powerful example.
Really makes you consider the impact one person can have, long after they leave office.
Absolutely. And it leaves us with this question. How did living to 100, seeing all that change, how did that shape Carter's view of the world and his role in it? Did it give him a unique perspective on the long arc of history? And did that maybe influence his commitment to building a more peaceful future? It's something to think about as we remember this truly remarkable man.
Yeah, a remarkable man.
Yeah,